art fans, and welcome to today's episode of Who's Art It. Today I've got a real treat for you. We've got the rapper, founder, poet, excellent human being, Krafty, also known as Danny Pandolfi, on the show with us. I talked to him a little bit about what his process is like, how he balances organizing events versus performing in events, and it's a really thrilling episode. He's got a half marathon coming up. If you like this content, click on that subscribe button. See you in Who's Art It. Talk to you soon.
You have a problem with authority. Somehow the rules do not apply to you. You believe that you are special.
Hello and welcome back to Who's Art It. I'm your host, Douglas Carson, and I am so thrilled to have with me today the battle rap champion of the United Kingdom, Mr. Krafty.
That's me, I guess.
It is. Yeah. Welcome. Well, I mean, some of you might already know Kraft from our Keep Art World story, where we went and covered the title defense. But do you want to start off by just telling a little bit about yourself and maybe your journey into battle rap and some of the other expressions that you have?
Yeah, so I'm a rapper. I'm also a poet. I perform poetry. I perform rap. I run events. I run a poetry festival here in Bristol called Lyra Festival. And yeah, on the side, I've always done a bit of battle rap and managed to become champion just before COVID, Feb 2019, and then successfully defended that last month, so November 2021. And yeah, I'm involved in all sorts of different stuff, do education work around poetry and rap, and a lot of sort of cultural producing and different bits. So yeah, that's my interest is in the words, all the lyrics.
Well, I mean, you must see some parallels and some differences between poetry and battle rap. Not just the art form itself, but also the scenes and the people involved with them. I'd be curious on your feedback or your take on some of those differences and how they manifest.
I guess a lot of the sort of camaraderie is the same. They're close-knit communities. I'd say they're both niche communities. They're both very nerdy in the sense that people are really about the work and the skill. And there's an appreciation for that. Maybe even more so in battle rap, actually. I feel like in poetry, it depends if you're the sort of page guys and the people reading the journals and the magazines. They're probably looking at it differently. Going to an event, you're more like, you want to be entertained, made to laugh, made to feel something. And obviously there's like incredibly skillful, talented people. I feel like in battle rap a lot of the time, the entertainment factor is important, but people are really looking at every lyric. So the audience are reacting to every single line, to every bar. There's a reaction or there's not a reaction. There's nothing like it in that sense where people are hanging on to every word and deciding how they want to respond. And the fact that, I guess poets and they write pieces which they perform hundreds, thousands of times to different audiences. Like a battle rap happens once and it never happens again, and it's filmed and it's put on YouTube. It's one take. Yeah. And it's, the title match is 10 minutes of material that you've memorized and performed. So there's differences in the sort of the way it's presented, but the scene itself, like going to an event in both cases, I find a positive experience. A lot of really nice people, like-minded people, very supportive of the performers, I think, in both scenes. And a good vibe, a good place to be around if you are interested in the arts, I'd say, in general. Actually, I think if you've got a artsy, creative headspace, you'll probably get something out of those spaces. Even if you don't like everything, you'll kind of like something.
So I'm curious about what the differences for you as an artist are in, I mean, I know battle rap is a lot about reflecting the other person, which is what I think I saw. It was my first battle rap ever. The Keep Art World was crazy. Don't Flop was super cool. Great vibe there. But one of the things you mentioned is, I'll just reflect and then we'll go back to the question. But you talked about people hanging on every line, and I loved how when it was a great line, sometimes it would get repeated and the audience would join in.
Say it back with you.
And I was reflecting about how different that is to poetry, where yes, you will have moments of silence and moments of feeling, but you'll never have the audience saying a line back to the poet.
Unless it's a sort of planned audience participation. There's a repeated line, a repeated stanza that's happening throughout.
But what is for you as an artist because I've seen your poetry now and your battle rap. How does it feel different to write those two things or create them as an expression?
Yeah, like you were touching on, I suppose battle rap is essentially about insulting your opponent. It is about either insulting your opponent, I'd say, or talking about how much better you are.
What's the worst burn you've ever had?
That someone said to me.
Yeah, you remember. I know you do.
There's been a few really good. Shuffle T in that title match had some good ones.
Yeah.
He had a good one about me reading comments about myself and getting really offended, and he sold it really well. I was one guy called Frankie Fraser said to me once, which I really enjoyed, which was he said that he only because I'm like, I do political rap, as some people might know, and I'm into that. I'm into politics.
We will talk about that a little bit.
I'm into
we
politics.
We'll touch on that soon.
So
that's there on the list.
So he had some. I think the exact words were something like, I only get with girls who like him saying this about himself. I only get with girls who like Dolce and Gabbana. You only get with girls who listen to Loki and Akala. And I thought that was really clever because he rhymed it all really well. So like that went off. That got a big reaction. So I think it is about insulting your opponent, bigging yourself up, and like self-aggrandizing better than they do.
Yeah.
Or and then there's the sort of more rare bit. There's the sort of the pie chart would be like, here's the bit where you're insulting others. Here's a bit you're bigging yourself up, and then there's this little bracket here of people who are not doing any of that, so the goal arguably sometimes is just to be the more entertaining person in the room. So there are battlers, like comedic battlers, who don't address their opponent.
Yeah,
they just sit there doing puns, silly stuff, and like there's a guy called Calcium Kid who does that.
Can I just ask the question that I'm sure some of our audience will want to know?
Yeah,
is do you ever feel like Eminem?
No,
because the 8th Mile. I mean, it's the whole thing.
So
it's a battle rap. Isn't
that's
it?
The interesting thing. So a lot of people would know in point to battle rap their pre-existing knowledge is Eminem and 8 Mile, because it was massive. It was a huge film, really good film, and that's what people think of with battle rap.
But do you think the American battle rap maybe is more like that?
It's not even a matter of continent or culture in that sense. It's a matter of how the art forms move forward.
Okay.
So this is the late 90s, early 2000s. There were things called Scribble Jam, where Eminem used to do the WRCs, World Rap Championships, and these were freestyle competitions. So here's the two main differences where battle rap came from. Battle rap started in the modern sense of battle rap from hip hop, because people have been battling over rhyme for centuries and centuries in different ways. But the hip hop kind of style, late 90s, competition, scribble jam, house parties, whatever, DJ puts on a beat and you got like say 30 seconds and you're freestyling. Sometimes the opponent's just been put in front of you that second and that's who you're clashing. Yeah. And then they come back and it's on beat. Okay. So the two differences now is most mainstream battle rap now is a cappella. Yep. And it's not freestyle, it's all pre-written. Okay. With the exception of rebuttals during the battle. Yeah. So me and Shuffle T in that battle both were rebuttaling, doing freestyles at the start of our round, and then doing our written bars. And then you get some freestyle battles. So like it's rare, but like at that event where at the end we did a freestyle Royal Rumble, I was a part of it.
I don't think we got much of that on film, but we were all freestyling, and that it's a different type of battle rap. And actually, when you're doing freestyle, the quality is usually lower because it's all top of your head, but the excitement value is higher. Yeah. Because it is legitimately all happening in front of you. It's like watching improv theatre as opposed to like just normal theatre. So those are the main differences in how it's progressed. Like America's the same. America's got a bigger scene. New York, URL, Smack. It's massive. It gets millions of views now. It's funded by Drake. These days they've got a whole app on caffeine and a subscription model. It makes millions of pounds, but it's pre-written a cappella battle rap. So I think anybody who's interested in battle rap, it's a great scene. Definitely go check it out. I mean, we'll put up Crafty's Instagram and Twitter and stuff, and you can contact him about those kinds of things. But I want to touch on something you said, which is the historical context around poetry and competition and verse. I'll just put this in there. That in Japan, the Shogun used to have a yearly competition for haikus, and the winner would get all the praise. And
Haiku deathmatch.
Yeah.
I've heard this term.
Haiku deathmatch.
Yeah.
And well, I think if I remember correctly, the loser, who the emperor judged, would be executed. So it was like literally a fucking deathmatch.
That's crazy.
But we don't take poetry that seriously anymore.
No.
So let's move into your role as organizer. So the Lyra Poetry Festival is an annual festival.
Yeah, and spring every year now.
Yeah.
So we've had 3 festivals. One was a digital festival during COVID.
Yeah.
One was a hybrid festival when COVID first started happening.
Yeah.
And the first was all physical. But, you know, going forward, it will continue to be hybrid. It will continue to be physical events in the city of Bristol, ranging from little open mics or showcases 30, 40 people to theatre events 400 or 500 people. Depends on the caliber of or the notoriety of the headliner. So it's a real broad church. We try to present as many types of poetry as possible: the page, spoken word, the more musical, hip-hoppy influenced stuff. And yeah, that's hopefully going to continue being an annual thing, if we keep getting the funding and the opportunities, and we keep building partnerships year on year. So hopefully, yeah, that's another thing in the city that will grow with the incredible art scene here.
So we talk a lot on this show and with various different artists and organizers and art forms. So as an organizer versus as an artist, one of the things we focus a lot on is balance. So do you ever find that for you, it feels like maybe you're doing too much organizing, or how do you manage the inherent kind of self-promotion of being an organizer, of your own artwork, and putting yourself on stage and things like that? So can you tell us a little bit about what that feels like to be an organizer artist, and not just an organizer or not just a participating artist, and where that kind of line is?
That's a really good question, and it is a difficult point. It's a point of like you say, it's a balance. It's a careful balance, and I'd say for me personally, I get into pockets. So I have a pocket of time where I'm creating, and that's my creative time. And then when I'm doing a big project or events project, and I'm trying to platform other artists and trying to create things for the community, I put my stuff to the side, and that goes on the back burner for a little while. That's my process personally. But yeah, they are separate things still, even though it's completely intertwined in my personal experience as an artist and where I've come from. That's where my interest in putting on opportunities is inspired from. The two intersect massively, but they are separate. So even allowed you've put my artist name and my real name, because there's people who will know me as Kraft, and the rapper or the battler or the performer, no idea that I do anything else apart from that. That's the idea of me that exists to them, which is cool. I'm happy with that. But then equally, there's people who have met me as Danny. You know, I'm someone who's putting stuff on. I'm working with them. They don't know that I'm a rapper or a battle or I do arts myself. But I like that, because when I'm there, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to platform myself in that situation. So it's interesting because they kind of are different worlds whilst being in the same world. And the balance for me is just making enough time for everything. But I'm not gonna be out running an event and planning an event till 5 and then writing till 8. Like it's not happening on the same day usually.
So do you feel like you're the one in charge of which pocket you're in? So do you like have to ever consciously be like, right, I'm not organizing for a while because I want to create? Or similarly, do you think, right, I'm gonna kind of take a break from organizing to write more, or vice versa? You know what I mean? Sorry, I think I missaid that. Well, I'm curious, do you just go with the flow, or is it something conscious?
These days it's a little more conscious. Would have used to be more going with the flow, like, because luckily I can curate that myself in my life, because I do work freelance and I'm self-employed, so I can manage my time and the projects I'm involved with and the hours I'm putting into things carefully, whilst also making sure I'm putting hours into the stuff that's paying your rent and all that kind of stuff, and then the stuff that's more like creative, so it isn't project focused, it isn't directly going towards a performance, but it's stuff that I just want to make and create that one day will be. So it's also balancing like your paid work and your freelance projects with the creative time that is an investment in yourself, not a financial investment. So that's there's a lot of different balances to consider when you're trying to be an artist, or not just an artist, but I suppose a creative practitioner is a more appropriate word, like yourself. Do you know what I mean? You're an artist, you're a painter, you do all these things and different types of art, but then you're also putting on things for others. So I'd say, it's being a creative practitioner, and that is like any job role. It is about dividing your hours. It's just that you don't have a boss in a traditional sense, so you have to manage yourself as well, which can be difficult. Depending on fluctuations in your way of life or your mental health or just where you're at.
So just because we're kind of coming up on short time now, I want to get over. I have one more kind of big thing I want to cover, and then we'll talk some of the things about what you've got out, what you've got coming. But we were just at the Reignite Festival, and Raise the Bar was the featured poetry event. Now, Danny mentioned Lyra Poetry Festival, but I met Danny through Raise the Bar, which was the event that he founded and ran, which is arguably the tier 1 poetry open mic in Bristol. I think there's a convincing argument you could make for that. Other people would have ones that they're favorites, but that aside, it was also the first time that you weren't present at a Raise the Bar, where you were not the lead organizer.
Okay.
What was it like to pass that torch, that process of growth where you built this thing, you nurtured it, and then you kind of step back and let somebody else be the person who runs that event? So how was that feeling?
I feel fortunate now that I've got a team of people. There's 3 or 4 of us that are, passionate about it. When Siley, who ran that event, and Kat came on board, they had a lot of performance experience. They were wicked artists, but they didn't have the curatorial experience in the event sense of how to run things and putting it all on. So that's been a journey, and also hosting events. Yeah,
Siley did a great job, by the way. Siley Katebe,
he's incredible.
You'll see a lot of that if you. We'll put up a little video of it here. But the Keep Art World feature of the Raise the Bar that went at Reignite Festival was just. I was moved. And May, who was with us, she'd never been to a poetry event before.
Wow. Okay.
And she was just like, "Wow, this is fucking amazing."
That's it. And they did poetry and dance with Praj Singh. So it's a whole multidisciplinary thing about poetry where you put it to music or you put it with dance, and it's incredible and it's a new thing. But I'm at the point now where I could not be at an event, but I know that there's people capable of running that, whereas it used to just be me doing all of it. So there's been a lot of events. I love being the background person who keeps things ticking, but not the person visible on stage. Like I do like that, even though sometimes I'll host as well. So I've had a lot of events where I haven't hosted, but I'm still usually there in some capacity. So like I said, I do education work and work with young people. So I was working with these young musicians as part of a project in Bath, and I'm doing that on Wednesday evenings. So this event was on a Wednesday, so I couldn't be there. Do you know what I mean? So it still felt nice to kind of know that I don't have to be there. It will go really well, and the feedback I've heard's been brilliant from everyone. So but I was comfortable because I know like Siley is now really good at that stuff. When he started, he hadn't done any of that, and that's a great sense of pride for somebody to come into our organization and our team and to visibly be growing to the point where they are not only an amazing artist and a respected artist, but also somebody who can create a safe and welcoming and entertaining space. I think that's a great duality of skills to have.
Speaking of safe, welcoming, entertaining spaces, how's Jeremy Corbyn?
Corbyn's great, bro. So
if you guys don't know, Kraft here wrote his first single was
my debut official single. Release was Letter to Corbyn.
Letter to Corbyn, which was officially endorsed by Jeremy Corbyn.
Well, he
this
he engaged with it. He was like, really appreciated it, but also because it's Jeremy Corbyn and he's so about everyone else, he was like, oh, it's quite a lot about me.
Yeah. What I'll say is if you like Jeremy Corbyn, definitely listen to Letters to Corbyn. If you don't like Jeremy Corbyn, listen to Jeremy Corbyn and get mad. Get mad, because like part of artwork is to ask questions and get people inspired and get people energetic. But right, I think this is that was. Let's talk a little bit about what you got coming, where people can find you. And any plugs you want to put in. Now's the time.
I'd say Okay, let's do all.
So
all
this
the,
is
all the things
crafty.
we've covered.
Let's do all the things we covered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
Let's go.
cover. So
Let's do a list.
if
We'll
we're looking at
put
like
it all
the
up. There'll be
event
links below.
stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah, Raise the Bar events coming in the new year. We're going to hold tight, see what happens with this COVID variant. So it might not be till March, but there's stuff coming with Raise the Bar, some big events. So come to a spoken word night.
So is
Bristol-
it RTB?
RTB spoken word, at RTB spoken word on everything. And then equally at Lyra Fest for Lyra Bristol Poetry Festival. That will be April 1st to 10th, 2022.
Awesome.
So come down to that. It's going to be loads of cool stuff. And yeah, if you want to come to a battle rap event, go to... find UK battle rap stuff. Don't Flop's the league I battle for and I'm champion of. There's also other leagues and other things going on. And I'll be defending my title sometime, probably tail end of the year. And yeah, my next single is going to be called This Is Hip Hop, This Is Poetry. And it touches on all these things. And it's almost a manifesto of my inspirations and experiences. And we've got a whole video. I'm really proud of it. So yeah, I hope you can check out the single. Maybe that will even be out by the time this drops. I'm not sure. Or will at least be almost out. My last two singles, Letter to Corbin and My Life. Yeah, if you want to go check them out, please do. And yeah, I think that's a lot of the plugs. I'm at Crafty Rap, CRAFTD Rap on the socials.
It'll be here.
There you go.
But
right
thanks
there.
so much for joining us today.
Pleasure, man.
Definitely.
Big up Keep At It as well. I know you guys have been going just even a few months, but already boom, got this whole place, studio, shop,
we're just trying to do
some
good
great
things.
artwork, some great community work. This is what I love to see. So it's good to be here.
Please subscribe, like, subscribe, share, comment. If there's anything you want us to ask Crafty, you can ask directly, but you can ask through us as well. Please drop a comment. See if there's anyone you want to have interviewed on Who's Art It, then drop us a line, let us know.
That's it. Support the arts in Bristol, but also if you're not in Bristol, you're watching somewhere else, like get involved in your local community. I think it's an important space to be in right now.
One love, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for tuning in, and see you next time on Who's Art It.
Big up.
You have a problem with authority. Somehow the rules do not apply to you. You believe that you are special. You have a problem with authority. Somehow the rules do not apply to you. You believe that you are special. You have a problem with authority. Somehow the rules do not apply to you. You believe that you are